The popular expression is, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. When in fact, that's when you should be saying everything. Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star Telegram, Engel Angle podcast here on the Sunset Lounge. Thank you very much for joining me. Before I introduce my guest for this episode, I want to congratulate the gang again on the 1-year episode of the Sunset Lounge. It's not an easy thing to do, to start up a podcast or anything along those lines, because it means you have to keep doing it. You have to keep doing it and producing it with the hopes maybe you'll find an audience. So I think we're finding one. I want to thank Mike Reiner, Rebecca Moore, Ashley Bullington, and the whole gang, all these names that I'm not mentioning because I'm forgetting, at the Sunset Lounge who have made this possible. All right, my guest for this episode. It's timely. Even though I did this interview about 2 months ago, it's timely because it is college football season. We are here. We have finally made it through the long, arduous offseason that is talking about college football rather than actually watching or, God forbid, playing college football. We are here. And I would say something to you. Well, something that you're going to hear a lot about college football are the following terms. It can't keep going along like this. No one's watching it, and it's not sustainable. Don't believe any of that stuff. A sport that has tens and hundreds of millions of dollars floating around it and has private equity firms and hedge funds knocking on the door to be an investor is doing okay. Okay. Some are doing better than others. No one's going to argue about that. But the idea that college football is somehow dying because players are getting paid now and players are changing teams more rapidly than a Kardashian does NBA basketball players, don't worry about it. It will get worked out, and it will never be perfect, ever. There will always be something about it that you complain about, no matter how much you love the sport. And I would say as much of the stuff as I've watched as a professional now for more than 25 years, I still love college football. And the people who run college football know that about the fans and the consumer, that they can't give it up. Now, I would say, I'm on the right side of 50 now. I would say this is the first time in my life where so much of what is going on with college football has had finally a negative effect on me. And it has hurt my fandom a little bit. Now, is that because I'm older? Is that because I'm in the business and I've watched so much of it and I see how the sausage is made? Maybe. I don't know. But the bottom line is, people are watching college football still in record numbers. They're paying a ton of money to watch it, and the players themselves are getting paid to play it. So all of this talk about gloom and doom and it's not sustainable and all that other stuff, just let it go in one ear and out the other, because it's not entirely true. A man to talk to me about it is my guest for this episode. His name is Mr. Nick Carparelli. It's probably not a household name, even though he's involved with something that has penetrated more households than the U.S. mail. I am talking about the massive expansion of college football's bowl season. In 2014, we all thought, and by we I mean anybody who follows college football, thought the bowls are going away. All of these bowls that have existed for 30 plus years, that we finally thought, okay, this will be the end of it, when college football's leadership finally embraced the creation of a playoff. We thought that, okay, once we have games that really have weight and meaning in a playoff, that it will reduce all of these second and third tier bowl games that no one watches. It will kill all of it. All of us could not have been any more wrong. Since 2014, which was the first year of the 4-team college football playoff, the bowl season has done nothing but expand and grow. And the guy who's in charge of all of those bowl games is Mr. Nick Carparelli. He is the executive director of bowl season, a job that he took in 2019. He's been in college athletics for more than 30 years. And if it has to do with a bowl game, about growing it, trying to attract revenue to it and eyeballs, Nick Carparelli, he's all over it. Before he took that job, like I said, he had been at other places in college athletics, including Under Armour, where he worked for a while, the Big East Conference, and for a while, he worked for the New England Patriots. He was there the first season the Patriots won their Super Bowl with Bill Belichick as head coach and his good friend Tom Brady. And Nick also worked briefly at Notre Dame before he started those jobs. Please welcome my guest, Mr. Nick Carparelli.
Talk to Mac and I about being old. I played college basketball at WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute. I have a mechanical engineering degree. My first job out of college was designing aircraft engines in Pratt & Whitney. So sometimes when people I work with in sports don't know that and they find out, they're like, oh my God, you must be smart. I'm like, did you not think that before? Yeah, I had to actually prove it. Yeah, no.
Are you recording? Okay. So there was a hockey player in the National Hockey League. See how smart you are. Since you built airplanes?
Yeah, Brian Leach from Cheshire, Connecticut.
No, not Brian.
He's a classmate of mine.
This is a guy who went to RPI.
Okay.
And he built his own airplanes.
Wow.
Do you know who it is? Brett Hull says he's the smartest. I don't know if you're a hockey fan at all. Brett Hull said he was the smartest.
I don't know. Who is it?
Damn it.
Well, I'll tell you now, a good friend of mine who went to RPI,
Yep.
Matt Patricia.
Okay, that's a smart
Very
guy.
successful football
Yep.
coach, yep. And he and I trade engineering stories, and we're both very happy we don't do that as a profession.
Did you ever build your own plane?
I built parts of airplane engines. Big project we had, we were designing a hollow fan blade in the engine.
Really?
Because weight is a big issue and constant quest to find ways to build a lighter engine, so making the fan blade lighter, but there were some forging errors that could occur if you didn't do it right, so I worked on that.
Let's try this one. So I'm Googling this because I interviewed him one time, and he played for the Montreal Canadiens, and he was really smart. But he was so modest about building his own plane. Like, he had his own pilot's license, and he built it in his garage with his dad. And I'm going to get this. It wasn't Joey Juneau.
Joey Juneau.
Do you remember Joey Juneau?
I remember the name. I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but did he actually fly in a plane he built?
Yeah, he did. I mean, it would be like building your own motorcycle or building your own car. This guy and his dad went to the garage and they built their own plane and he flew it.
Yeah, but building your own plane, a little more consequential if you make a mistake than a car. Kind of like the Titan sub.
Yeah.
Did you see that documentary?
I saw both of them.
Idiot for a smart, successful guy. Talk about arrogance.
I'm really glad you brought that up because you know what bothered me about it, and you can answer this question since you're an engineer. I know nothing about engineering. I know nothing about that. And the thing that baffled me was, why did they think carbon fiber could stand up to great depths?
Not only how could they think that, how after it failed every single time, and the scientists on it after the fact said it had a 100% chance of failure, why did they go through that anyways?
So this was my own theory about it. So you watched it, you read about it, you were fascinated by it. I'm really glad you brought this up. This is a guy who had some money, right? And he found a lot of potential and found a lot of banks and investors to dump money into it. How upside down do you think he was to keep going down in that boat at $250,000 a pop per ride? Because you and I both know he probably wasn't even at zero yet.
Yeah, I don't. In my mind, I think it was an ego issue.
Oh, you don't think it was a money issue?
No, I think his ego was so big, and he had, they said it. He thought he wanted to be Jeff Bezos. He wanted to be Elon Musk, right?
Yeah.
Be in that stratosphere. His ego was so big. He was such a narcissist that even though every time they tested it failed, even though, he went in it himself,
right,
and said, "Nah, my ego is so big, I'm ignoring that fact that it failed every time. And I'm going to do it anyways."
There was another part of it that I couldn't believe. What do we know about if you take a car or a motorcycle or anything and you store it outside in the elements, right?
Yeah.
And they stored the boat in Newfoundland, right?
And the freezing and the unfreezing compromised the integrity of it.
Why wouldn't they think that was going to eventually damage that ship?
His ego was so big that it would supersede science.
Could you ever imagine signing up for, and I don't know if you were younger, if you did stuff like this, Nick, where they go, okay, sit in the car, Nick, now we're going to bolt you in.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. None of that.
All right, so
the number of fans we have coming out today, Mac.
Thank you very much. He'll be signing autographs later. Nick, so you've been in charge of basically the college football bowl season for quite a while now.
5 years now.
5 years now. 5 years now you've been doing it. And you know one thing I've consistently heard covering college football now for a while, and I know you've heard it too, is bowl season's dead.
Yep.
Bowl season's dead. Bowl season's dead. And yet it continues to not only live but expand. Explain to me, like I'm a third grader, because I didn't make it to fourth. Explain to me, Nick, why something that is being predicted to an imminent death continues to live and thrive.
So I love that question. You know, sometimes in our lives and in our jobs, you have things that happen that make your job harder, and some things happen to make your job easier. So this past bowl season made my job in answering that question specifically a lot easier.
Why?
Well, if there was ever a time that people were going to doubt the bowl system, it was heading into this postseason, the first year of the 12-team college football playoff, which everybody was excited about. They said, oh, this is certainly going to mean the death to the other bowls.
Right.
Who is going to care about those? Well, lo and behold, we get through bowl season. Television viewership was up 14%. It was the highest it had been in 5 years. 2.7 million people watched the average non-CFP bowl game, which blows away any other sports programming in the month of December outside the NFL. That's
So that beats the NFL. That beats the NBA. It obviously beats the NHL.
College. It's on a par with Duke, North Carolina basketball,
Wow.
which is head and shoulders above every other college basketball game, right? So
great.
why is that? You know, I had a number of theories. I think with the expanded playoff, I think the bowl system and the playoff feed off each other. You had 4 rounds of the playoff that were 10 days apart.
Okay.
So you're fueling the appetite of the college football fan more than it already is. So the first round happened, and they're like, we can't wait 10 days. We got to watch more football, right? That's part of it. Second part is you had compelling matchups. You know, that South Carolina-Illinois game had some tension between the coaches, and South Carolina thought they should have been in the playoff, and then Illinois beat them, right? You had Michigan-Alabama, right?
Yep.
Historic rivalry matchup. Both teams showed up to play, had something to prove. Michigan beat Alabama. Alabama thought they should have been in the playoff, right? But gave people to talk about, hey, maybe they did. Maybe they shouldn't have belonged in the playoff. Maybe it was a good selection.
Oh, and you know the one you didn't mention was the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Well,
and I don't say that jokingly. The Cam Ward story with Miami and the game itself against Iowa State, those were really good storylines.
It was compelling storylines. That was a great game. Of course, everybody wanted to see the Pop-Tart getting eaten. But how about this, Mac? There were 2 bowl games, and Pop-Tarts was one of them, that had more viewers than one of the CFP on-campus playing games. 6.79 million people watched the Pop-Tarts Bowl. 8 million people watched BYU Colorado in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
2 Big 12 conferences, conference teams here at Big 12 Media Day.
Yep.
The 6.6 million watched the SMU at Penn State playoff game. Who would have ever thought that?
When the one that shocked me, the Colorado BYU one, I kind of understood it because Dion is Dion, and Colorado is a real lightning rod point of attraction team now that we haven't seen really since the U, when Miami was rolling there in the 80s. And BYU is BYU. That's Notre Dame Light. That has a tremendous following. So that one doesn't stun me. The Iowa State Miami one Pop-Tart thing, I mean, I'm sorry, the Pop-Tart thing was one of the greatest hooks that I had seen in a non-playoff game, and what a great bit. That one, though, from a rating standpoint, if you would have told me it was going to outpace a playoff game, even if it includes SMU, which is a smaller school, and the point spread on that one going into the game was significant. I don't care, it's a playoff game. If you would have told me that, like, no way, no, there's no way, but it did.
Well, and then we mentioned the Michigan-Alabama game in the ReliQuest Bowl. That did it 6.5 million viewers. So that was right there. Obviously, 2 name brands. So people still care about these games. It's really important to the teams who deserve a reward for a successful season, right? If you're Iowa State going into last year, did you think you were going to make the playoff? Maybe, maybe not, right? But the fact that they had such a great experience, a lot of people watched the game. The win oftentimes propels teams into the following season. It's a little bit of a launching point. And let's face it, college football is unique. You're never going to have a 68-team NCAA basketball tournament type of a postseason. You need these opportunities for all types of programs.
So, Nick, one thing that I've seen that's evolved in the last 4 or 5 years, and you can push back on this or not, is that the non-playoff game, And we've been in the playoff era since 14, 15.
Yep.
But now, because there are more playoff games, and you've got players who are now foregoing, whatever you want to call it, opting out, that these playoff games, the non-playoff games, have basically morphed into a spring practice for the next season. Is that a fair characterization?
I think it is. You know, the majority of teams in a program of players in a given program are coming back, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are younger, so that bowl practice, those 2 weeks, is really valuable, right? The game experience. If you're a fan of any given school, you've been rooting for that team long before the current players were there, and you're going to be rooting for them long after. Right, so it's exciting to see who's going to play next year, right? Who's the next up-and-coming guy? But you mentioned the opt-outs. I think we've kind of turned the corner on that, Mac, as well. The top 10 Heisman vote getters all played in their bowl games. I think schools are getting smarter all around when it comes to playing players. They used to be very front-loaded in their payments. Now they have installments.
Yeah.
Where if you don't play in the bowl game, you might not get a quarter of your payout.
Well, let me ask you real quick on that. Those contracts are private,
Yes.
right? So do you think, and that led me to this next question, and maybe you're suggesting it's already going on, is this idea that these contracts are being structured with players now. If you want that last payment, you got to play in the last game, whether it's a playoff game or not. You think that's going on?
100%. It guaranteed is happening. Schools want guys to play. The fans want these guys to play. They're getting paid to play. Mac, you and I have jobs. If we don't do it, we're not getting paid. So I'm all for student athletes getting paid, but do the job you're getting paid to do.
Okay, it's about that time. It's break time. And it's got to do a little promotional work for the Sunset Lounge. A reminder that all of the shows here on the Sunset Lounge are FREE. In Spanish, that means free. Shippy and Groobs, the boys will make your day with their satirical commentary on viral video clips, internet memes, social media, trending topics, sports, athletes, celebrities, and pop culture. Oh, the Clubhouse, featuring Rob, Alex, and Don. Pop culture, sports, movies, wrestling. Engel Angle. Thank you. Beer 30 Sports O'Clock, Mr. Ziggy. I'm a little worried about Ziggy. Ziggy is running our fantasy football league. And in my experience, the guy who runs the fantasy football league tends to win the fantasy football league. Not implying anything, I'm just stating facts. Al Maximo, featuring my friends Victor Villalba, Spanish voice of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Mavericks. Carlos Nava, ESPN Deportes, reporter of NFL, MLB, NBA, boxing, and soccer. You can find all of those shows, as well as the return of Mr. Norm Hitzkiss. It's been great to see him again. As well as Mike Reiner's Your Dark Companion. Sunset Lounge is free. You can find it just about anywhere now. If you go to patreon.com/sunsetloungedfw, that is patreon.com/sunsetloungedfw. You can find it. Just find the free member button at the top of the page. Click on it, little mouse, click on it, and you can enjoy all of the shows for free. Before I forget, a reminder, the minor league baseball season has about 2.5 more weeks before we wrap that up, and then we will barrel on into Major League Baseball's eternally long playoff. But be that as it may, a reminder that Your Dark Companion and the Sunset Lounge will still be there with the Frisco Rough Riders, AA team in Frisco, Texas, for all of their Thirsty Thursday games throughout the remainder of the regular season. And with our special code, you can be there too, with a ticket that's preloaded, $6. It's good towards your first Thirsty Thursday drink. We're not going to press alcohol on you or the concession stand. Just go to ridersbaseball.com/specials. That's ridersbaseball.com/specials and use the following offer. Let's Ride 25. That's Let's Ride 25 to access this offer. Join us for a drink in the Bull Moose Saloon as the game begins, and then maybe you might be able to spot us in the lazy river. Preferably not at the bottom, maybe in the stands, or just wandering about the crowd. That's every Thursday home game. Got a few of those left. Thirsty Thursdays. Quench your thirst on Thirsty Thursdays with Your Dark Companion and the Sunset Lounge. Now, back to the show.
So back in 2014, I interviewed the then president of the Cotton Bowl. I think his name is Rick Baker.
Baker, still the president.
Still the president.
Probably our longest tenured bowl directors.
That's it. I was going to blank on his name, but I can't.
Great human being, great person, does a great
really,
job.
and does a great job, and a really smart guy. And it might have been before 2014, but I was talking to him about the future of what he kind of thought the bowl season was going to look like.
Yep.
And his projection was, well, it's probably going to shrink. Now, he's just guessing. That was 11 years ago. And here we are. It didn't shrink.
No.
It expanded. Somebody's making money on these games, Nick. And the whole idea is, well, everybody's losing money. And I'm like, there's no way everybody's losing money if they keep adding these games.
Yeah. Well, everybody's doing fine financially.
Okay.
The experiences, you can make a case that the experience outweighs the financial gain. The bowl system provides both. I could tell you ESPN's making a lot of money. It is their most profitable time of year.
Really?
And they are not bashful to share that.
So is your job as the executive director of college football's bowl season, that title sounds like, man, that's a hard sell.
Yeah.
Because, and I think one of the reasons why it's been a hard sell, people like me in my jobs who sit there and bitch about, well, no one's watching it, the crowds are small, or whatever else. And what you're telling me is this is not a hard sell.
It's really not. You know, I understand that certain bowl games aren't as important. Most of them don't factor into the national championship equation.
Yeah.
But like we said, college football is an uneven playing field. You have all types of programs. One program's definition of success might be different from another. Yeah. So every program's trying to get 6 wins. That's where they start, right? Then they want to get into a conference championship game. They want to win that. They want to get in the playoff. They build. But goal number 1 is that 6th win. You know you're going to a bowl game somewhere. And depending on the type of program you are, maybe 6 wins is a big deal. And the next year you try to get 7, 8, 9, and you go to different types of bowl games. And eventually you build your program to the point where you can get to that playoff. But it doesn't just happen overnight. The bowl system has a really important place, obviously in the history of college football, but in its future as well.
So when it comes to the viewer participation and maybe even gate revenue and people watching, Nick, how much do you think this is being driven by, in terms of viewership, America's changed relationship with gambling?
That's a great question. I think gambling is a really important element of the popularity of sports in general.
Wait, say that again. What element?
Of the popularity of sports. I think gambling it plays a big role. Right or wrong. And it doesn't have to be high stakes gambling. All the bad parts of gambling you think of. It could be as simple as the NCAA tournament. That bracket has a lot of value.
The bracket's driving the bracket is saving the NCAA.
In fact, quick story. When I was running college sports marketing at Under Armour, getting one of our teams that we outfitted in the NCAA tournament was a big deal because the brand exposure you got, right? So you want 1 team, 2 teams, 3 teams, and then if the teams win and they advance, we hired somebody to do a study. How much is it worth to have a team with the Under Armour logo on for 2 hours in the opening round? As you can imagine, second round was more valuable, third round was more valuable, right? Sweet 16. It took a dip, Mac, at the Elite 8, and then, of course, the Final Four team.
It took a dip at the Elite 8?
Yeah, and so I'm asking them why, and they said studies show that the most amount of people's brackets are busted from the Sweet 16 to the Elite 8, and they don't care as much.
They turn it off.
It's that important. So that tells you everything you know about the value of gambling, whether it be actual dollars or just filling out your office bracket.
So Nick, I'm sure you have had conversations with friends, and I'm sure in any number of social scenarios, you're the most interesting person at the table because of your job.
Yeah, well, maybe.
No, seriously, I bet you are. If you're around doctors and lawyers, you're going to be more interesting.
People tend to like to engage me in conversation.
I can totally understand that, and I am sure you've heard this a lot in the last year, maybe even 4 or 5 years. College sports is dead. This model is unsustainable. There's no way this thing can live moving forward long term. I have my own thoughts about that. What are your thoughts when you get that question?
Well, you said several things. College sports is not dead, but the model is unsustainable, right? It has to change. It's a problem at every level for whoever you are. And it's starting to, right? I don't know if the House settlement's going to stick. I'm skeptical that people are going to abide by the rules because they haven't very often.
In 50 years.
If NIL can be what it actually is, it's endorsements, just like you see pro athletes, right? You do a Gatorade ad or whatever. That's what NIL is. It's not pay for play. If that's what it is, and the direct payments come from the university, I think you're going to see a lot of things get under control. The combination of wide open NIL, wide open transfer portal was a bad combination. Having a player play at 4 different schools in 4 years is not good for anybody. It's not good for the student athlete that's not learning, hey, how do I overcome adversity? How do I stick things out? How do I, that, because that's what life's gonna hand them. How do I, what's the value of loyalty and commitment? How do you build a culture in a football program, right, where continuity, we just had a panel discussion of 8 head coaches. Some of them were all about continuity because that's what they have to offer. Others were about, no, I like being able to pick guys off because that's what they did, right? It doesn't mean either one's right or wrong, but I don't think it's sustainable. But college football, college athletics is so popular that it remains successful despite the dysfunction.
How busy is your December?
Very busy. Very busy.
Are you home at all?
I'm lucky. Nobody tells me what bowl games I have to go to. I go anywhere from 6 to 10, which is a heavy travel load. I can go to Florida and hit 3 or 4. I can go to Texas, hit 3 or 4. When I want to go to, San Diego, as great as it is, or Albuquerque or Boise, that takes 2 or 3 days. So it's hard, but it's busy. I try to go to different games each year, so I hit them all over a period of time. But look, nobody's feeling bad for me going to 6 or 10 bowl games.
Okay, so I'll ask you this last question, let you go. Everybody knows the big bowl games, right?
Yep.
The Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. Now, there are all these other bowl games that exist. The Pinstripes Bowl in New York City, New Mexico Bowl in Albuquerque, Holiday Bowl in San Diego. If somebody asks you, hey, Nick, what's a cool second or third tier bowl? Those are my words. That might be kind of a fun thing to take in. What do you tell them?
They're all great. They're all unique. You're kind of asking me to pick a
I know,
favorite
that was
child.
gonna be tough.
I have 2 sons. I love them equally. But I'll say this. The Pinstripe Bowl holds a unique place in my heart. When I was the deputy commissioner at the Big East, our teams were always the visitors because all the bowl games were in the South. And when the Yankees opened up the new Yankee Stadium, I said, it'd be cool to have a bowl game there. And I grew up a lifelong Yankee fan, so I had to kind of convince them that it would be a good idea. Now, 15 years later.
Was that your idea?
It was. I started the Pinstripe Bowl with the Yankees, worked with Randy Levine, who's still the president. Yep. And now, 15 years later, they make a lot of money on one day in December when the building would be closed otherwise. So they treat me pretty well. I get to go to a good bit of Yankee games as a result. So
I lied. There's one more question. So you know what they teach you in journalism school other than don't go into the profession if you want to make real money?
What?
They say the last question you should ask somebody is, how do they say it, Nick? Did I not cover anything?
Is there anything else you'd like to touch on?
You know the bowl system. We met 5 years ago when we were launching this bowl season.
Yeah, I remember when you did, and I'm like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, 40 independent bowl organizations built their great brands in their own communities. The group of them got together, said, college athletics is changing. We need somebody to work for us collectively to promote the mission of bowl games, to promote the system as a whole, to market us and brand us. And that's what we've been doing the last 5 years. And it's not too often, Mac, that you get the opportunity to launch a new sports brand that's 100 years old.
That's pretty cool. How much can you bench, dude? I mean, I follow you on social. I know.
I'm 57 now, not as much as I used to. We'll put it that way.
I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
Yeah, anytime. Great seeing you, Mac.
Likewise.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.